Um, Welcome to our first class that we are delving into Dharma in this first week of February. And we're doing something a little bit different than I have done before. This is not a subject I've talked about before. But I just feel at this time of what some are calling the sacred pause that COVID has given us, a time to go a little bit deeper in our yoga practices, a little more inner self-inquiry, that this is the perfect time to do this, especially because this is Heart Month of February. And really, when we're talking about Dharma, we're really talking about that which is deep in your heart. It is said that there is a seed that is planted in your heart, your seed for potential, your seed for your purpose when you come into the world. And as humans, we get very busy in our achieving and acquiring, and we forget what our true purpose is. And so we're going to be doing each week at the end of our practice, we'll be doing a little bit of self-inquiry through journaling. And journaling is a very powerful way of self-reflection, because as we start to write, things start to flow that might not otherwise come to light as it does when you're journaling. And I've experienced this very much myself. So this practice that we're going to do is designed to light up the heart and create that connection between the mind and the heart, so that we can see or hear or listen to what's in our heart a little bit better by the end of practice. So the first part of the practice, we're going to be working with some more fluid movement just to create a little bit of heart opening in the spine and whatnot. And we're going to be working with pranayama and mantra, especially in the last half of the practice before we wind down for shavasana and meditation. And this practice for me was very profound as far as how I felt at the end of the meditation when I've been doing this practice. So hopefully you'll feel the same way. So we are going to go ahead and get started seated for a little bit of pranayama. We're going to start with Kapalabhati breath to just really clear out the old, so that we can make space for the new of what we're delving into. And I'm going to add some arm movements into it. If you feel comfortable doing that, please follow along with that. If not, just bring your hands either palms up or palms down, maybe touching your index finger and thumb together, and rest your hands here. If it feels too intense, adding the arm movements into it. So let's take a big inhale, reach up to the sky, and really lengthen up. And then as we exhale, either hands come to your thighs or bring your hands to a fist with your thumbs pointing up. And this is how we'll do our Kapalabhati if you want to follow along with the arm movements that I'm doing. So taking a nice inhale, and then begin at your own speed and pace. So if you remember, Kapalabhati is just that forced exhalation using the low belly, that belly below your belly button, to draw in and exhale out, and the inhale just happens on its own. Keep going with your pace of Kapalabhati, whatever that pace is for you. And again, you can go slower, you can go fast, whatever feels right in your body. As all our practices, it's important that you do what feels right for you. Keep going for a few more breaths if you can. And then exhale everything out. Take a deep inhale and feel the collarbones lift as you inhale, whether your arms are extended or on your lap. And then we're going to retain the inhale with collarbones lifted, a very slight drop of the chin, and just containing that prana, that energy, into the heart center here. Bring your awareness into the heart center. And then when you need to release, slowly exhaling through the nose. And as you inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, release your hands down, just sitting with eyes closed for a moment. And feeling into that expansion, that clearing of the heart center. Perhaps a little bit of warming in the body. And then I invite you to begin to connect with your ujjayi breath here. So if you remember the ujjayi breath, rather if we think of the nasal cavity as a room, rather than having the wind blow right through the whole room, we're creating a restriction or a friction in the back of the throat with the soft palate so that the breath travels on the floor of the nasal cavity and into the back of the throat, slowing the breath down, warming the breath up, and creating that lengthening of both inhale and exhale. And then as you begin to connect with that ujjayi breath, see if you can even out the inhale and exhale. So they both are at a count possibly of 6. As you inhale, and then 6 as you exhale. And see if you could go through 3 or 4 more rounds of ujjayi, really connecting both inhale and exhale. And this is really the foundation of our whole practice every week, is that ujjayi breath and connecting with that. And as you connect with your ujjayi and evening out the breath, begin to notice a settling in the body and a settling in the mind. And just a couple more rounds here. And then we're going to start with a little bit of heart opening, front body opening right off the start. And so you start with your left leg extended, drawing your right leg in so that your right knee can be down. My right hand is behind me and rotating the arm bone outwards to protect your shoulder, because we're going to bring weight into this hand. And your left hand can just rest on your left thigh. And some of you have done this with me in practice before, but it's been a while. It's like a baby version of Wild Thing. So as I inhale, I'm going to reach the left hand up and think of your hips being attached to your left hand by a string. So as I inhale, I press into this bent knee, lift the hips up, reach overhead, open the front body. And then as I exhale, hand comes down, hips come down. So just imagine that string attached. We're going to do that a couple more times. Inhale, lift up, reach up. So my weight is in that right bent knee and my straight leg foot, and come back down, and also my arm. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, opening, and exhaling down. One last one. If this bothers your shoulder or your wrist, you can also do this on your forearm. You just won't lift as high, obviously. And then come back to center. And we're going to go ahead and do second side. So bending your left leg. And again, either on your hand, rotate that left arm open, either on your hand or your forearm, hand on your straight leg, and just think of your hips being attached to your arm. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, come down. 2 more times. Inhale up, open the front body, and exhale, we return back down. Inhale up, and release back down. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, we come back down. Make your way onto hands and knees. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my microphone here. Make your ways onto hands and knees. And a couple rounds of cat-cow, just loosening up the spine, finding some mobility, and bringing awareness into the heart center as you inhale, making space for the breath. And do 1 more round. And As we come into our last exhale here, we'll lift the knees up and move into downward facing dog. And from here, we're just going to walk or step your feet up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, belly draws in as we fold, and inhale to rise up. So coming into mountain, we're going to make a little bit of space in the side ribs and side body. Again, just building up capacity for breath. So let's just start by inhaling, reaching up, intertwine your fingers, and press the palms up to the sky and really lengthen up and maybe lift up, bringing energy up, and then release your hands down. And this time as we inhale and reach up, grabbing the left wrist with the right hand and stepping the right foot back. So right foot and side bending over to your left. So I'm holding onto my right wrist and have my right foot step back. Sorry, I said that wrong. And then inhale, come back to center. And this time we're going to grab the left wrist as we reach up, step the left foot back. We've done this in the last week or two. And nice side stretch into the side body as you inhale, come back to center. Now again, that capacity for expansion in the heart center, bring your hands to your heart center. And as we inhale, we're going to bring our hands wide and rise up on your toes. And then as you exhale, release the heels down, come back to center. We'll do that a couple more times. And coming back. Inhale, wide, rise. And exhale, release to center, release heels. This time as we inhale wide, let's pause at the top of our inhale for a count of maybe 2 or 3. And then release down as you exhale. Let's do 2 more like that with retention of the inhale at the top of the breath. And then slowly release down. 1 more. Inhale, retain that inhale with arms wide, toes high, or heels high, I should say. And then exhale, release down. And then just take a moment's pause, beginning to feel that capacity for more breath and maybe a little more expansion in the heart center already, and we've just begun. So we're going to do a little bit of some sun salutations with lunges to begin to open the front body a little bit more and begin to warm the body for what we're working towards. So start by, actually we're going to do a little bit of heart opening through our sun salutations. So as we inhale, reach up. And as we exhale, release your hands to your sacrum, elbows out behind you, fingers pointing down. And inhale, lift the heart a little bit more. Little baby back bend. As we exhale, we fold, slide your hands down the back of the thighs. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, step the right foot to the back of your mat, coming into a lunge, and you can have your blocks here to help facilitate. So taking an inhale, let's exhale, come into reverse lunge. We're just going to do this 1 time. And inhale, back to the top of our mat, drop the back knee. And you can either bring hands to your front knee or reach all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands come down, lift the back knee, downward facing dog. Coming forward to plank pose. And we're going to play a little bit in our plank pose because we're going to play with side plank, keeping both hands down. Turn your toes, both toes to the right side, so I'm on the edges of my feet. Come back to center. Turn your toes to the left. Come back to center. Maybe you drop down through, or lower down through knees, chin, chest, or through chaturanga, but we're all going to come down to our belly. Draw the heart through. Uncurl the toes. And then bring your arms wide and behind your shoulders. And as you inhale, Lengthen your legs back and lift the heart. Being careful that you're not cranking your neck back, but you're still reaching through the crown of the head. And exhale, release down. Now bring your hands parallel or in line with your shoulders, elbows up, and do the same thing. Inhale, rise up into your cobra. Lengthen through the toes, out behind you. Pubic bone pressing down. Exhale, release. Hands under your shoulders this time. Press up and back, child's pose. Just taking a nice breath into the back body, especially that space between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, rise up, find your down dog on your exhale. And really think about each inhale lengthening through the spine and lifting the hips up off of the waist. And exhale, settling into the hands and feet for grounding. Next, inhale, float the right leg up into the sky, three-legged dog. And as you exhale, draw that foot through, place it up between your hands, use the right hand to help it get there. Hands can be to your blocks or on your mat. Take an inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, reverse lunge. Inhale, lengthen forward again. Exhale, drop the back knee, hands to the knee, or reaching up to the sky. Exhale, hands come down, lift the back knee, step forward, coming into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we bow down, and inhale, we rise up. Drawing all the way in. My new setup, I haven't tried it out yet. I keep hitting my backboard here, so excuse me. Take a breath or two in your mountain pose. And let's do another one. Just adding on to our lunges a little bit. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, release hands to the sacrum, elbows out behind you. Fingers guiding the tailbone down. Inhale, inviting a tiny back bend, opening the heart. Exhale, slide down the back of the legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step left foot to the back of the mat this time. So again, we're in our lunge position. Drop the back knee. Inhale, let's reach up to the sky. Grab left wrist with right hand. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, side bend to your right. So I've got left hand drawing it over to the right side, opening that hip flexor a little bit more. And come back up to center. Release the hands down. Step back, downward facing dog. And you know, every time we come into downward dog, you have the opportunity to take pause in child's pose or stay in down dog. Otherwise, I invite you to come forward to plank pose. We're going to play with that side plank idea a little bit here, turning your feet one side to the other. And then maybe you even lift one hand as you turn your feet and lift the other hand. And just do that a couple more times. You can also do this on your knees, just opening through the heart center. If being our hands to intertwine behind our back, behind our sacrum, lengthen through the legs, extend your knuckles towards your feet, shoulders roll back, we open the heart, pressing the pubic bone down and drawing the belly away from the mat. Allow the breath to pour into your heart center. Staying for 2 more breaths here. And each time the breath pours in, maybe that allows a little more lift. 1 more breath. And we exhale, release down. Take an inhale and press up and back, maybe pausing in child's pose or going straight to down dog, your choice. And then inhaling up, exhaling into your downward facing dog. Let's move straight into our second side of our lunge. Left leg floats up. Exhale, step that foot up between your legs. Drop the back knee, coming into our low lunge. And inhale, reach to the sky, grab right wrist with your left hand. We're going to side bend over to the left. So lengthening that right side up and over. Take one more breath here. And then we release the hands down, lifting the back knee and stepping forward this time. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale to bow. And inhale, we rise all the way up and draw into your heart center. Take a breath here, and then we're simply going to step our right foot back for warrior two. So bending the knees, taking a big step back, and your back foot parallel to the back short end of your mat. So bending the front knee, we're going to bring a little bit of movement, and we have done this before in our warrior two. So it's almost like we're creating a mandala with our arms, a circular movement with our arms. So my back arm is going to reach forward and circle around the head and back. The front arm is going to reach back, circle around the head and reach forward. So just doing that a few times, bringing some mobility into the shoulders, into the spine, into the ribs, and moving it with your breath mindfully. Do one more, and then we're going to switch sides. So cross the arms and center as you pivot the foot and pivot the other foot. So same thing, second side, back arm reaches towards the front hand and circles around, and keep moving. Just bringing movement, moving energy that might be stagnant or stuck. Let's do one more round. And then we're going to cross over and move to our first side. And this time we're going to move between peaceful warrior and side angle. So inhaling into your peaceful warrior. And the exhale takes us into side angle. And your side angle might be on your knee as I'm showing here, or you might bring fingertips down to the floor. We inhale back up into peaceful warrior and exhale into side angle. Let's do that transition one more time. Peaceful warrior. And last time in side angle. And this time as we rise up, let's pivot once again to the other side. So from your warrior two, peaceful warrior, and side angle. And again, you can progress if you wish in your side angle with hand to a block or hand to the floor, or keeping elbow to the knee. Let's do one more of those transitions. Inhale, peaceful warrior. We're really making a lot of space through those side ribs, opening up those intercostal muscles. This time as we come up into our warrior two, we're going to pivot to center, intertwine your hands behind your back for our wide-legged forward fold, or prasarita, padottanasana. Intertwining fingers if you can, or bring hands to your hips and slide down the back of your thighs, whichever is most appropriate for your shoulders and wrists. Lifting the heart, and then exhaling to fold forward. So we've been doing a lot of uprising energy in our poses. This is just an opportunity to settle a little bit before we move on in our practice. One more breath here. And then wherever your hands are intertwined, release them to your sacrum, release them to the floor, and then walk them out in front of you like a halfway lift. So walking them long as though you're in downward facing dog and you're reaching your fingertips far. Your ears just alongside of your biceps, maybe a tiny micro bend in your knees. Again, creating space in the spine and the ribs. And then releasing your hands back. Hands can come to your hips here. Leading with your heart center, begin to rise up, coming all the way up. And then just step up to the top of your mat. Give your hands a little shake, shaking out through the wrists, because we're going to use our wrists a little bit here. Also opportunity to use your forearm. Playing with those side planks once again. So inhaling, reaching to the sky. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, lifting halfway, and exhaling, stepping back to plank pose this time. And again, you can do this on your forearm, what we're about to move into, or on your hand. So you choose if you want to be down in forearm plank as we move, or if you want to be up on your hand. But we're going to rotate the feet so that you're balancing on your left hand. So I could be facing you. And then we're going to step that top leg in front of us. So this is giving us some support here through pressing through this foot. So as we inhale, lifting the hips a little higher and reaching overhead. Again, all that space we were making in our side ribs. Exhale, you can lower a little bit. Inhale, lift up. This time I'm going to bring my hand down and step back into downward facing dog. Take child's pose if you wish before we do second side. And utilizing the breath to make space in the back body, which gives us a little bit more mobility through our back bends as well. And then if you're ready, coming into your plank either on forearm or on hands. And we're going to bring weight onto the right hand. So rotating feet towards the left. And again, stepping that top foot in front to give us that support. Inhaling, reaching the left arm overhead. And you can be doing this here as well. Or even have that bottom foot down or bottom knee down to help you as we move through this. And then on your last one, hand comes down, pivot the feet, step back, down dog, either taking child's pose or staying in down dog, or flowing forward and moving through a vinyasa to flush that out. Lowering through chaturanga or all the way down. Choosing up dog or cobra as your back bend. Awareness into the heart center. And exhaling back, downward facing dog. Let's all take child's pose for a moment, because we're going to do one more variation of the planks with the possibility to move into side or wild thing if you choose to do so. So in your child's pose, maybe you want to release your wrists a little bit, rotate your hands. And again, we have done this before, but it's been a little while. So let's all meet in downward facing dog now. Take a moment, find your steadiness, staying connected to your ujjayi breath. And then coming forward to plank pose, rotating. I'm rotating my toes to my right side and bringing balance onto my left arm. And this time I'm going to step my top foot behind me onto the ball of my foot. So the first time it was in front, this time it's behind. And do exactly the same move, lifting the hips as I reach overhead. So this is called a wild thing. And then go ahead, bring the arm down, pivot back into your downward facing dog, possibly taking child's pose. And then let's move into our second side. So forward to plank, balancing on the right hand or right forearm this time. Stepping top foot behind onto the ball of your foot. My straight leg is on the outside blade. And then just lifting the hips, very similar to what we did at the beginning of class with our hips and knee down. And you can do that variation here as well. Take one more breath. And then release. And you can come into down dog. You can take a little break, let your wrists have a little break, have some compassion for your wrists in child's pose. Or maybe you feel like you just want to go ahead and flow and flush that out, moving through cobra or up dog, and then meet us all back in child's pose. We're going to take a few breaths here. Really breathing into the back body in your child's pose or down dog, whatever you've chosen to take. And then we're going to slow things down a little bit and really concentrate on our prana in our asana, in our postures. And we're going to add a little mantra, which helps to kind of open up the postures even more. So taking one more breath wherever you're at. And then stepping, walking, or floating to the top of your mat. Inhaling, let the heart float up with your breath. Exhale, bow down, and inhale, rising up. Drawing into your heart center and taking a moment's pause in your mountain pose. So the mantra that we're going to use is very evoking a lighting of the heart, and we have worked with this mantra before, and it is Om Jyotir Atma. So Om is opening to, what's the word I'm looking for? Opening to the divine. Jyotir is the light, and Atma is the soul or your higher self. So I open to the light that is my higher self or that is my soul. And this really helps to bring the vibration of the mantra and the concept of the mantra into the heart, because we'll be also doing some breath retention with it as well. So we're going to start really simple with a dynamic chair pose, and we're going to do this a few times. Just to get into the rhythm of the breath. And so starting as we inhale, reaching up, and then as we exhale, sitting down. And when you get to that furthest part of your chair pose, release the upper body, keeping the knees bent, hands come to the floor, and belly to the thighs. And again, my hips are just slightly higher than my knees. And then when we're ready to inhale, reach up, lean back, and continue rising all the way up. So that's one rotation. So we're going to try and create lengthening of our inhale as we go. So we'll start our inhale when we rise back up. We'll start with a count of 6, so we're slowing it down, and then each subsequent time we'll go one count higher, so 7 and then 8. So 3 more times. So we start with the arms raised with a nice big inhale. Exhale, one whole breath as we come all the way down to our lowest point, and then release the upper body down, hands touch the floor. And now we start our count for our inhale. Lean back, reach up, and then rising all the way up to a count of 6. Release the hands down. Let's go again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit down to your lowest point, and once you reach that point, release the upper body towards the floor, belly to the thighs. Now a count of 7. Inhale, reaching up, nice and slow, slowly rising all the way up to your count of 7. Let's go ahead for our count of 8 this time. Exhaling, we sit down to our deepest point, release the upper body, release the neck, and slowly reaching up. We want to make a count of 8 this time. 1 complete breath all the way up, and release the hands. So hopefully you're like me. I finally warmed up in here. That inhale, lengthening the inhale really helps to create length as well as capacity in the heart center. So next we're going to move into Warrior 1. And we're going to start by stepping the right foot back. And the back foot's a 45-degree angle. And we're facing the short end of your mat. Bringing the left hand to the small of the back here. Just kind of resting at the top of the sacrum. Reach the right arm up. Actually, no, this isn't what I want to do. Bring your hands straight out in front of you. Palms pressing in. Front leg is straight. So we're going to move in and out of our Warrior 2 dynamically a few times, and we're going to add our mantra in here. So as we inhale, front knee bends, we open the arms wide. Exhale, we straighten the leg, bring palms back together. So inhale, a nice breath. Now on our exhale, we're going to chant Om Jyotir Atma. So take one more inhale, because I know I took a long time to say that. Om Jyotir Atma. Inhale, open wide. Om Jyotir Atma. 3 more times. Inhale wide. And you can have your shoulders slightly ahead of your hips here. Om Jyotir Atma. Really feel that mantra in your heart center. 2 more. Om Jyotir Atma. 1 more. Om Jyotir Atma. This time as we inhale, moving into our Warrior 1, we're going to stay here, pausing at the top of your inhale, and then exhale to the mantra. Om Jyotir Atma. 2 more times like that. Inhale, pause for a count of maybe 2 or 3. Om Jyotir Atma. 1 more time, pausing at the top of your inhale. Om Jyotir Atma. And now we stay here. Take another inhale, pausing at the top of the inhale, and silently chant the mantra. So doing 3 breaths in total, silently, with retention at the top of your inhale. And then straightening the front leg, releasing the hands. Step to the top of your mat, coming into mountain pose, closing your eyes. And just feeling that buoyancy in the heart center, that expansion, that capacity. And perhaps beginning to sense with your mind that light that is in the heart. That opening, that warmth. And maybe you can even feel that echo of the mantra in your heart center, lighting up your heart. And now let's go ahead and do second side. So stepping the left foot back this time. Arms out in front of you, level to the floor, palms together. And in the first few, we're just moving in and out with our breath. So inhaling to open. This first one with no mantra. Exhale, hands come together. Inhale, wide, and then start our mantra. Om Jyotir Atma. Inhale wide. Om Jyotir Atma. 2 more times. Om Jyotir Atma. 1 more. Om Jyotir Atma. Again, this time as we come into it, we're going to stay here with arms wide, pausing at the top of your inhale, and then chanting 3 times. Om Jyotir Atma. Inhale, retaining the breath. Om Jyotir Atma. 1 more time. Retaining the inhale at the top. Om Jyotir Atma. And then 3 more breaths with retention, silently saying the mantra on your exhale. And allow that echo in the heart center as you say it silently. And then as you complete your last breath, release the arms down, step to the top of your mat. Again, close the eyes in your mountain pose. Feel that vibration, that awareness in the heart center. And building that light and building that connection between the mind and the heart. That light is always in our heart, but the darkness in the mind doesn't allow us to see it until we work with our breath, our pranayama, with our asana, with our mantra, to bring that into our line of vision, into our listening. And so we're going to do one more standing posture, working with the mantra, and it's simple forward fold, but we're going to extend it a little bit with mantra. So starting with the left hand at the small of the back, once again, reaching the right arm up, taking a nice big inhale and reaching up. And as we exhale, we begin to fold forward, reaching through that arm all the way down. Let your hand touch beside your right foot. Now, as we inhale, we're going to reach forward, bring the arm parallel to the floor along with the body. Pause at the top of your inhale, bring that mantra back into your mind. And the exhale, we chant. Om Jyotir Atma. And as we chant, we're forward folding once again. Inhale, reach the arm long and rise all the way up. And we're going to continue 2 more like that. The exhale, we reach long, fold forward, all the way down, hand touches the mat, release the head. Inhale up halfway, reaching the arm, everything parallel to the floor. Pause at the top of your inhale. Find the mantra in your memory. And then as we exhale, we'll forward fold and chant. Om Jyotir Atma. Inhale, reach long, rise all the way up. And let's begin again, last one. Exhale. Forward folding as we reach. Release the hand, release the head. Inhale, halfway lift, reaching the arm. Pause at the top of your inhale. Om Jyotir Atma. And then we reach long, rise all the way up. And release both arms. Take a moment's pause again, just noticing the effect of the mantra, of the breath retention, and feel that vibrancy in the heart center. And let's go ahead and do second side, last side. Right hand to the small of the back of your hand against the sacrum. Reach the left arm tall and long. Taking a nice big inhale, the exhale, we keep reaching with that arm, folding forward, micro bend in your knees, release the left hand beside your left foot, release the neck. Inhale, reach the arm, come halfway, parallel to the floor, retain the breath, the top of your inhale, find the mantra in your mind, and exhale, we chant. Om Jyotir Atma. Inhale, reach long, come all the way up. And exhale, we fold forward. Hand releases to the floor, head release, chin towards the chest. Inhale, reach, come parallel, retain the breath here as we continue reaching. Find the mantra in your mind. Om Jyotir Atma. We fold all the way forward. Inhale, reach long and tall. Last one. We are exhaling to fold. Inhaling to reach long and bring the body parallel. Retain the top of the inhale. Exhale, fold. Om Jyotir Atma. And then inhale, rise all the way up. Release both arms. Take a moment coming into mountain pose. Just feeling through that pose or through that mantra, the vibration, the concept of it. And feel that echo in your heart. So hopefully you can still see me because my screen just disappeared just like it did last week. We're going to go ahead and find our way down into child's pose. So inhaling, reaching up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, down dog. It's your opportunity for one more flow if that's what you choose. Otherwise, coming down into child's pose. And just taking a little break in child's pose. A few breaths here, and maybe bringing awareness to that echo of the mantra here. And then on your next inhale, rising up, coming up to a seat. And we're going to go ahead and lie down on the back. Actually, yeah, go ahead and lie down on your back, knees bent. And we're going to move into bridge pose. So bringing the soles of the feet so that your heels are in line with your sit bones or your hips. And again, I'm going to give you a couple of options here. I can't see the screen, so hopefully you can see me in this position because I have no idea how I'm showing up when I'm laying down. But as we move, we're going to move in and out of bridge pose dynamically and then hold for the last breath. So inhale, reaching the arms overhead, lifting the hips. Pause at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, either saying out loud or silently our mantra once again. Om Jyotir Atma. So our mantra is our exhale as we lower down. Inhale, reach up. Pause. Om Jyotir Atma. And last one. Inhale up. Om Jyotir Atma. And now you have the option just resting here or come into traditional bridge pose, lifting the hips, intertwining the fingers, and pressing the forearms down. And just silently let the mantra ripple through, vibrate through the heart center with your heart lifted. One more round. And then releasing down. Extending the legs long and feet flex so that the toes point up to the sky, and reaching the arms overhead as well. And just nice inhales into the collarbones. One more round of breath here. And then releasing your arms down, straight out from your shoulders, coming into some supine twists. So you can bring shins parallel to the floor or keep feet down on the floor and just rotating from side to side with your breath. Doing that a couple of times and then allowing the knees to settle on one side, looking opposite of your knees. Sorry, the floor is really cold here, so I'm not going to lay on the floor, but I will instruct you. On your next inhale, bring knees back to center, and exhale to your opposite head side. Let your head roll opposite of your knees. And then coming back to center. And we're moving into your final Shavasana. So if you wish to put on socks or sweaters or blankets, go ahead and do that now. And get yourself comfortable for your Shavasana. And as you settle into your Shavasana, take a moment to just sense the breath taking the shape and being informed by the mantra. The breath flows effortlessly on the presence of the mantra in your heart center. So as you settle in your Shavasana, you can just keep a gentle awareness of the mind on that heart center as you allow this restful awareness for the next few moments. Very slowly, I invite you to begin to deepen your breath, allowing each inhale to just pour into your heart center effortlessly. And as that effortless breath flows a little deeper, begin to bring gentle movements into your fingers and into your toes, into wrists and ankles. Slowly bending the knees and making your way into fetal position on your time. And then begin to make your way up into a seat for our meditation. Sitting on a block or a bolster or a cushion, or perhaps a folded blanket. And as you make your way to your seat, return to that state of restful awareness that you just had in Shavasana. Beginning to allow the sit bones to settle into that solid surface beneath you. Feet, the shins, the thighs, all becoming heavy, feeling the heaviness in your bones as the lower body settles. And allowing that foundation to allow your spine to rise up long, gentle lift to the front body, lengthening through the back of the skull and drawing the chin slightly back so that your ears are right over your shoulders. Bringing your hands to your thighs, index finger to touch your thumbs, either turning the palms up or down. And then bringing awareness back into your breath. And begin to view or sense an awareness of the mantra continue to echo in the heart area. And the mantra begins to not only light the heart, but allows the mind to connect to our heart's deepest desires. As we sit in stillness, allowing a deep listening, we set aside the busyness of the mind and build that presence in the heart so that we can perhaps hear a little more clearly. And begin to lighten the mind so that we can see that innate light. What darkens the mind to this light is a lack of compassion. And that lack of compassion starts with ourselves. So we take a moment to reflect where we may have withheld love from ourselves. What part of your own discomfort or pain or hurt have you not acknowledged and cared for? So just take a moment as we sit in stillness to just acknowledge the hurt and the unacknowledged parts of ourselves. And just being aware without creating a story around it. And now begin to offer love and kindness and compassion in the same way that you would offer this love and acceptance and care to a young child, perhaps your own child or a grandchild or your furry child, when they are hurt, the compassion and the love that you give to them. Perhaps begin to imagine yourself as a child and offer that love and compassion and kindness to that child that is you. Have this intention to love and care for yourself. You have the responsibility to give to yourself what you need. You become the active giver of love and the receiver of love. You have become the healer and the healed. I invite you to rest here for a few more minutes to soak in the wholeness, the nurturance, the well-being of self-love, compassion, and self-care, until you feel you can embody self-compassion. I invite you to come back to the breath flowing in and out of the heart center. And envision that light at your heart that you can see with your mind's eye. And creating that direct communication with that which is in your heart, has been planted in your heart and your conscious mind. Slowly bring your hands to your heart center. Taking a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale out your mouth. And then inhale to chant one Om. And now you can consider or invite you to just stay seated with your eyes closed for a few moments as I give you a little background on your journal assignment. Just staying connected with that sense of awareness. And we're going to talk about the unique lessons that you are here in this life to learn. And some of these unique lessons continue to keep coming back if we don't learn them. And I'm sure many of us have seen in your own life a repeating of these same difficult lessons. So what we're going to do for our journaling question is two questions. First of all, write down the lessons that you feel you have already learned in this life, that you have embodied. And because of you've embodied them and learned them, that you live your life differently. So that's number one. And then number two is determine one or two lessons that you are still learning, that perhaps you're still struggling with or you find repeating because you haven't, your soul, you haven't learned these lessons. So that's your assignment, your unique lessons that keep coming back, that you're still learning. And then also with compassion, the lessons that you have already learned in this life and have caused you to live your life differently. So if you're ready, you can open your eyes and write your questions down. I'm going to say namaste. Thank you so much for joining. And I hope you enjoy this little self-reflection. And next week we'll have a different self-inquiry from our heart center. So I'm going to turn off the recording. And if anybody has any questions, you can unmute yourself as well.